Welcome to this video, a new part of opening disasters, and it's again one of my own games. This time a relatively recent game. It's from 2013, a little bit older than 1 year, played in April 2013. It was also in a league game. This was the final round back then of the German fourth league, and it was a very decisive match. It was played between an opposing club, Lippstadt, and my club, Dienstlaken. We were both competing to promotion to the third league, and a win in this match, the final round match, would guarantee the winner the promotion. At the end we won the match very nicely, actually. And this game was quite important for the outcome. Let's have a look. I'm black, and my opponent is Mathias. He's a FIDE master, but he was rated almost 2,400, quite a long time. And at the time this was played, he was like 2,370 or something. So pretty strong FIDE master. He also has got IM norms, probably lacking one norm or something to get the International Master title. Yeah, let's see what happened in the game. We got a Scotch opening, and an important thing to know is that I knew that I was playing him, but I couldn't really prepare much because he's playing all openings. He's got an opening repertoire basically consisting about all with all lines. He's playing E4, C4, D4, everything. The Spanish, the Italian game, whatnot. And well, he played the Scotch. And it was something that I couldn't have anticipated at all. Yeah, here I normally play this somewhat weird line, Bishop B4 check. An old favorite of Tony Miles, and I still think that this is a pretty decent line, but it is not as reliable as the main lines. And I had a hunch that maybe he had prepared something here, so I didn't go for that. I went knight f6, just the main line together with bishop c5. Yeah, here white has this choice between knight c3, the Scotch 4 knights, or the capture on c6, which is the far sharper option and more interesting. So white took and played e5. The interesting thing about this is that now black really has to go queen e7, which obstructs black's development. A knight move now does not really help him much. It will lose time in the long run. And the thing is that queen e7 is basically forcing white to play queen e2. So both queens are somewhat misplaced. Yeah, okay, black has to go knight d5, not much to think about there. Yeah, and here we come to a point of decision for white, a crossroads. The dominant main line here, which is played in about 80 to 90% of the time, here is c4. Yeah, attacking the knight, a very logical move. The centralized knight is attacked. Here black has a choice, bishop a6 and knight b6. In the game I would have played knight b6 because this is the line that I have studied most. Bishop a6, however, is also interesting. Still c4 is the main line and leads to very sharp, interesting play. He didn't play that, however. And knight d2, by the way, is a line that also is played by some top players. With this tries to get the knight quickly to f3 or play c4 at a later stage. Also possible. He played a move that I had never seen before. However, he played the move b3. Yeah, it irritated me a bit. b3. Yeah, very often this move sort of fits into the whole scheme of things. After c4, very often this pawn needs protection, the c4 pawn. So this might somehow fit into the position, but it's not clear that it is necessary, and I was a little bit in doubt that this is really good. Probably it is still okay, but it's nothing great, and it has a concrete drawback that is exposed quite quickly. Yeah, after some consideration, I went a5 in this position. This has two ideas. The main idea is, of course, to play a4. The a pawn is slightly weak. It's isolated in a way, and a move like a4 can be helpful. Also, I'm preparing bishop a6. That also might make lots of sense. Yeah, and one important thing is that in this position, the move b3 has some serious consequence. For example, if we look at this concrete position, what should white do? A very obvious move here is the move bishop a3. Yeah, after that, I have a good reply, the move queen h4. That's very important. The big point is that after bishop takes, rook takes, black now has a very, very annoying threat, and this is queen d4. It's quite difficult for white to do something against this threat. Also, there are sometimes ideas like that. Queen c4, let's say, to cover d4. Then we have this, and all of a sudden I'm threatening queen c1. And the pawn on e5. So, shaky business. The b3 move in connection with bishop a3 has weakened the dark square. So that's very tricky. What about c4? This looks quite logical, and this was actually the move that I had anticipated. An interesting moment now. I have a very simple move, knight b6, that actually transposes to c4, knight b6, b3, a5. Yeah, it's one of the main lines actually. So it would have been a simple transposition. However, my intention was different. When I was sitting there waiting for him to move, I was thinking when I went a5, I can always go knight b6, but I actually spotted an alternative that is interesting. I can play queen h4 again. Yeah, it's quite funny. I can actually sacrifice the knight after the capture. Queen d4 is a very strong move. Yeah, just attacking the rook. And there is no good way to defend that. It's quite funny. Yeah? If we consider something like this, the check is going to win for black immediately. Something like that picks up everything. Or if we look at queen b2, again there's a check. Knight takes, bishop c3, and white loses the rook in the corner. So there are some nice tactics already, but white does not need to take the knight, of course. He has a stronger move. He has to play a3, which is not really great, but he has to do that. And then I can play knight f4. Yeah, I've established this square now. Queen e4, knight g6. This is probably what would have happened after something like that. I actually thought that black is better because of the weak b3 pawn. It can be attacked, but well, the computer is not that enthusiastic. It just gives it all about equal. But still, I would have liked to play the position. Yeah, however, this is better than what he did. What he played is the move g3. Very often white is going for this kind of double fianchetto, and well, the fianchetto does make some sense as you want to castle at some point, but this has really a very significant drawback, and the drawback is that black can push with a4 directly. Now it gets critical. In this position I think white really has, he now has to play bishop b2. There is really nothing else. Bishop b2 is at least covering some stuff, like the pawn here, and allows something to interpose in case of a check or b4. After that, black now has a choice. In the game I was thinking that this was a good way to play, as the a pawn recapture after The trade and the check with queen a5 to come is really nice for black. However, if we look at this, we see that this is also possible, which of course is convenient for me. It's not a problem, but after this, and let's say queen e4 and the trade, black has a nice position. I have this great knight here, but it still takes some time to castle. This is not something huge for black. Maybe a slight edge, but nothing too great. It seems that a3 is even stronger. I know that during the game I didn't consider this that much, but I'm not sure what I would have done if it actually would have been played. a3 is quite strong apparently. If we look at this, I have c5, and this now is very inconvenient. Stuff like that gives black good development and immediate threats. So he has to play very unnatural stuff like rook g1, for example. Black is clearly better here. Also, there is g6 as a possible way to quickly develop. A very good position for black. a3 is stronger than the capture. Still, I think he should have done that. I mean, the problem is that the position is already very, very shaky. One point to illustrate that is the move bishop a3. After bishop a3, I can take here with the point bishop e7, b2, and I will just win this with the new queen. Very nice. Black has to take, white has to recapture, and then rook takes a3 wins the whole house. Check. King d1, and now we can simply give up the queen temporarily. And at the end of this, black is enjoying an extra piece. Yeah, tactics like that are already in the position, and it's all because white is he's behind in development, only the queen out, and this is on not a great spot, and he's got weaknesses on the dark squares, especially there. And well, g3 is also not that helpful sometimes if we imagine the queen coming somewhere here. Yeah, he went c4 in this position now. And after that, I have a direct win, a tactical win. Yeah, and it is relatively easy to calculate. And I went a takes b4, b3 of course. Yeah, giving up a piece, but it's a simple piece of calculation. White has to take the knight. All other moves don't really make any sense. He took the knight and the check. Yeah, and now there are only a couple of lines to consider. If we start with king d1, we just give the check and take the rook. Quite easy. There is bishop d2. That's also quite simple. We just go b2. Yeah, it's not that often that you have after 12 moves the a pawn coming to b2 and promoting. Yeah, this is a very quick way to finish things. Yeah, so bishop d2 is also not on. What about the queen? Okay, here black could give the check and win the rook, but in fact rook takes a2 is even more convincing, as rook takes, pawn takes will give a new queen, as there is a double threat of promotion and just capture with a promotion on b1. So also very quick win. So the relatively best move, and this is not something you like to play, of course, is knight d2. This is what he played at the end. And here I can play b2 to get stuff back, but it's even easier to play rook takes a2. After that, I'm just threatening to take the rook. And white really only has rook b1. This is giving me a new queen very quickly. So rook b1. Yeah, and now black can finish off the whole thing with b2. Yeah, the a pawn really one move, 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves, and touchdown. That's really not happening that often. Yeah, as I'm also threatening stuff like rook a1, he has to take on b2. And this was quite forced. Yeah, and here there is really nothing that white can do to fix things. He took on c6, and after that I made the only mistake in the game really from my part. My move wins, but I had a quicker win. I played queen c1 here, which pretty much guarantees the win as well, but bishop b4 was simpler. The idea is to play queen c1, winning yet another piece on d2, and white has no defense against that. To be honest, I'm not totally sure why I didn't play that. I saw the move, I definitely saw it, but I cannot really tell you why I discarded it. I must have had some weird reason, but I don't know what it was. I cannot really remember why I didn't do that. Well, what I was seeing is that the check, what I played, is winning very easily. Queen d1, only move, take c6, and then I attack the rook. And well, I'm a pawn up already, plus the fantastic position, and white has no real move here. I still can play bishop b4 next and complete my development. Yeah, he went rook g1. I mean, it's just as good as any other move. Bishop b4, and developing this, bishop d3. Yeah, and here I can play a double attack on the bishop and the pawn. It's not like he had anything great to prevent it. Queen c2. Yeah, and now this is a little bit more precise than the check on e5. Immediately I just get the queen back a little bit and then take. It's not a huge difference. King d1. Yeah, and here the computer is again merciless. It wants to just play castles. I didn't really want to see the bishop coming to h7. This, however, is a winning position without any doubt. The computer is like +6 or something for black. I mean, it's a fantastic attack. But you have to understand that it was a situation where it was of utmost importance to win the game, because our promotion to the higher league was dependent on the result. And I wanted to play it as safe as possible. So I definitely wanted to give away some pawn there. And then I decided to play it as simple as possible. I just took this thing on d2, which is not the best move, clearly, but it is the simplest move. King takes, yeah, after, oops, I'm sorry. Here I took with the king. Yeah, well, queen takes, there is just the check. Winning the rook or forcing a queen trade. And, well, a queen trade is just the same as resigning the game. I'm 2 pawns up. So this is a very easy win. So he took with the king. And then I saw that the check here is giving me a useful tempo. King e3, yeah, sort of out in the open, but where do you go? Yeah, the other places are not really any better. For example, after king e2, I also have the simple move bishop a6, and after that I will castle. I mean, why not just play with 2 extra pawns and win in an endgame? It's just a simple way to win. He went to e3, however. Oops, I keep misclicking this. After the check, he went to e3. After which I decided to get the rook into play, and the simplest way to do it is just king to d8. Yeah, going to play rook e8. Yeah, he played king f3, check on b7, and king to g4. Yeah, it looks kind of weird, but where else? Yeah, there is nothing really any better. Check on h5, king here. Yeah, and now it is a very forced sequence now. Queen g5, intending mate on g4. Bishop f5 was played, and now the final stroke is bishop f3. Yeah, after bishop f3 he resigned the game. The reason is simply that I'm threatening queen g4 with a mate. Yeah, this is the point. If he plays, let's say, whatever, a move like that, I'm going here, bishop takes, and this is a double checkmate. And this was impossible to prevent. It's like a mate and a couple of moves. The computer wants to do this typical desperado stuff, which is not really helping him in the long run. So this is a true opening disaster, and it's I think very much due to the fact that it is difficult to play such a sharp and yeah, demanding opening where you have yeah, sort of neglected your development a bit and you have some sort of coordination issues with white. It's difficult to play that without any really detailed concrete knowledge, and he sort of, it looked like he tried to sort of yeah, invent stuff over the board, and this is really dangerous if you have this kind of yeah, extreme opening. Yeah, it can be done in simpler positions where there is no direct conflict, but here you're really running a huge risk. Of course, after this, if he now starts to play best moves like c4 and so on, he still has a playable position, but any misstep is really getting you very close to the abyss. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the coverage of this quick victory. Thanks for watching.